freedomslips.com. 100% listener-supported radio. Reporting the danger. Unafraid. Right here, where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio!
Hey guys, Scorpio here. Join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. here on Studio A for the Scorpio Conspiracy Show, where we discuss the hidden agendas that impact our lives and uncover the secret societies and the shadowy elite who construct the reality that we are supposed to believe. So be there Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, here on Studio A on Revolution Radio, and learn what's really going down.
Just a little money on the lone highway left me for another on the lone highway. They killed Dirty Dog McGee on the lone highway.
This is the people's war. It is our war. We are the fighters. Fight it then. Fight it with all that is in us. And may God defend the right.
Warning! Warning!
We gotta stop them! They're gonna kill us all!
See how the trouble you've started?
Be they the government, be they industry, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human beings. Time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it.
Right, you tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio.
Gentlemen, welcome one and all to the story behind the story with Dr. H. Watt. This is Major James Burdock reporting you from Lagos, Nigeria. We switched it up a little bit, folks, and we will have, we're going to try something different. We're changing things around, and we're going to be trying something different. Dr. True is on a mission. He has entrusted us to take care of his show, and hopefully we didn't get a chance to adequately explain to Dom or Mr. Rowe exactly what's going on, but Jim has a show called The Ship Show. And I think we're getting.
I think.
Phil, we're getting feedback from you.
I've got my headset on, so it's not coming through my speakers.
Oh, okay. All right. So what we're going to be attempting to do here is Jim's show is called The Ship Show, and it's all over the internet. It is right now. It's I see it on YouTube, and we just switched over here to Revolution Radio. So what we thought might be interesting is after we get done explaining to Dom and Dom and Mr. Rowe what's going on. Jim is connected on OBS, and he is hooked up currently to us right now. And so when I give him the green light, we'll pass him, and we'll have his show live with us. So all of the good folks with us, and he can introduce those fine people. Phil is with us here as well. So when Jim is speaking, it's going to be his show mating with Revolution Radio, the story behind the story. So we'll give it a shot. If it gets too weird or complicated, we can tap out at any time. I've got both shows connected, and I will strictly go back. Jim and a bunch of other ship shows. So I say, welcome, Jim Watkins and the Ship Show.
Ahoy, it's the Ship Show, nationwide radio. How about that, guys? You know what? They shadow ban us on Twitter. They shadow ban us on YouTube. We pop up on VK.com, and we're the top show on VK.com, which is it's like Twitter in Russia. But we're pretty big. And here we are in Nigeria. We're going live. They try to shut down the Ship Show, but we are just... And you guys can turn your mics on. I know you're on the radio, but listen to me. I'm on the Ship Show and the radio because I've got two mics. It's like a mic thing. I had to go on a mic.
We're in stereo.
Yeah. So you guys are on the Ship Show. You are live, and I'm interviewing Albert Johnson from P2Pprinting.com. He is the noted screen printer from Tennessee. He runs the number one print shop in Tennessee. Yeah.
Nice.
It's really, really awesome to have him here. And if you ever purchased an 8-Kun t-shirt and you bought it from a legitimate source, because I know that there's been a lot of Chinese pirating of them, but if you bought the legitimate 8-Kun or Q t-shirt, you probably bought it from P2P Printing in Texas, not Texas, Tennessee, same thing.
Tennessee.
No, I'm kidding. But you know what? If Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett probably think it's the same thing, didn't they die in Texas?
Yeah, both states are kind of known for being that, volunteer, patriotic state.
There we go. So anyway, here we are.
I always heard that short for
on the
Tennessee
radio?
Mexican because it was Tennesseans who moved down to what was in Mexico to turn it into Texas. That's absolutely untrue. It's inaccurate, but I stand by the fact that I would like to believe that was Texan. It's just short for Tennessean who became a Mexican.
Playing through your speakers to the radio.
It's supposed to be my guest there having their microphone on the Ship Show and their other microphone on the radio. So I'm putting my other speaker on top of my speaker here, and maybe you can hear the show. Can you guys hear him talking that way?
I don't hear him. Can you hear?
I'm not muted.
No,
I'm not muted anyway. You can hear us on national radio, but we can't hear you guys talking, I guess.
Oh no! So nobody can hear me on your end.
Connected from the radio, from the Ship Show, and Burdock has finally unmuted his mic, but he stopped talking.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
I'm getting everything. But now we've got a little bit of an echo, so I'm going to have to mute back. I'm going to have to mute on your show, and we'll continue on. But we can hear everything over on Revolution Radio.
Yep.
Okay, folks. Well, that was Jim. He popped off and will be coming back again. I'm going to mute on his show, but we had it right. I think everything looked right there.
Okay.
You hear them. I'm not sure if they could hear us.
You guys on the show. You can hear me on the radio, but you can't hear them on the ship show. And I've got all these guests to be on the radio.
Oh no, we can hear them. I heard Dee and was it Alan?
Albert.
Yeah, it was
Albert.
set up. It was set up properly, Jim. You'll just
say.
Okay,
Yeah,
I heard you.
hear us.
Okay, so just when you talk, unmute your mic to talk on the ship show, and then mute it when you're done talking. That'll work.
Yeah, I could do that as
well. Okay, and then I'm gonna give each guest 5 minutes to talk about what they want to talk about. So Al, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and I'm gonna time you on that. Let me start my timer. Here we go. Ready? Al, you are live.
Wow, I get 5 more minutes here. All right, we'll start with shirts, obviously. About 95% of my shirts are made in America. There were some that I pre-printed a while ago that, I just had some non-made in America ones I was just trying to get rid of, basically. But I've marked those down a ton. But yeah, I've been searching through all these different wholesalers and different places, trying to just find good shirts. I've kind of been collecting all of my favorite shirts from these different companies. Just trying to find the shirts that I like. But I'm just so excited to be on here in this time, right? Because, I don't know, we have all this stuff going on in the world, all these different fires and explosions, and who the hell knows, and then Trump's ominous statement just, what was that, yesterday? There's just so many things going on in the world, and I'm just super excited to be on here with, the owner of 8 Coon and all these, patriots around the country, around the world, really, I guess. It's just a very exciting time. But yeah, I have been posting a lot of new shirts. I got a lot more I'm about to post. I just posted a My Body, My Choice shirt. It's with a mask and a syringe, like vaccine with an XL. I figured that one would make a few people upset. And then I got this. I love this shirt. It comes in black also, kind of like an American flag with the Q on fire in the middle. I've got a I Stand with General Flynn shirt, because he's everyone's favorite general, right?
People really like him.
Yeah, I mean, he, and part of the Q movement. I mean, he's kind of, Q mentioned him early, so a lot of us, focused on him and, paid attention to what he said. And, you can just see him now, especially with him taking the oath, that he's kind of been involved with this whole thing the whole time.
I think he had about 30 seconds there where he wasn't under some sort of gag order, and that's when he did that.
Yeah. He kind of just, he's under a gag order. He can't say anything. That's why they're keeping all of this legal, court pressure on him, so he can't talk. Because he knows the truth. This Q says he knows where the bodies are buried. He was at the head of all this military intelligence under Obama, so he knows what they were doing. So they're terrified of him more than anyone. So I've seen the rumors of people wanting him to come back and head the FBI, which, that'd be amazing. We'll see, and that really terrifies, I'm sure, a ton of people in Washington. General Flynn, the head of the FBI.
And what got you involved in? What got you into the screen printing?
Well, actually, I started at the very beginning of Q back in 2017. I don't know. I just got into the whole graphic meme thing, right? I mean, that's what, Q was saying, put things in graphic form and all that. So, and I made this one graphic, this one right here. Just kind of pull it up, but just a big Q, and it's got a bunch of Q posts going down each side, and the TikTok rat in the middle. But I designed that back in like early 2018, and I went to some T-shirt place to get it printed. And I'm sure it's just like on Teespring. There's like no profit margin on those websites. It's like ridiculous. They have all these charges, and I was looking at it. I was like, I'm just going to try to print these myself. And it took me, about a year before I had a good print that I liked. At the beginning, I didn't think screen printing would be this difficult, but
Now you're one of the few screen printers in America that has American-made stuff, American-made T-shirts. I'm sure the Teesprings are just fulfilled from America. On their website, it says fulfilled from America, but it doesn't say.
Last time I was on your show, we were talking about this very same thing, and that's what got us kicked off Zoom. So.
Oh, that's right. It did, didn't it? So let's not get kicked off. Our time's up. How do we find your website? p2pprinting.com. I'm just, adding as many new products as I can. So here in the next few months, I'll have a ton of new stuff. I'm just trying to add as many different things as I can. So okay, p2pprinting.com. I'm going to bring up my next guest now. That's Dee Stevens. Dee Stevens is from North Carolina radio personality. He's been all over the radio and every sort of job you could possibly have if it involved communication. She's done it in the past. And now she's coming from the North Carolina, which is north of South Carolina and south of Virginia. It's right there in between the two.
In the middle.
Okay, so I've got her in here, and I'm going to give Dee like 5 minutes to say what she's got to say, because she has a lot to say. And let me set my timer here.
I don't know about all that, as far as a lot to say, but I'm hitting my timer to make sure. And it's wonderful. I gotta say, Albert, it's wonderful meeting you. You're still big on the screen and everything. That is just so cool. And I do like the fact that you are going and selling American-made products. It's just really, really cool that you're doing that, because not a lot of people were doing that. And now it's turned out to be cool. You know what I mean? It's what people want now, is they want American-made products. They don't want to have the other, the overseas kind of stuff. Nowadays, they do want American-made products. And I'm just very, very honored to meet you. And I also want to let people know that if you need voice work done, I know it sounds like I have a real accent because I'm in North Carolina right now, but I do have a professional voice. And that voice can be found at dstevens.com. I also do a scripture of the day, and all of that is in one hub. So I've got dstevens.com, and I also do some blogging on there as well. So I hope that you'll visit that.
Groovy. So what got you into radio?
Oh, gosh. I was a voice on a telephone, doing a call-in and pretending to be somebody I wasn't, or trying to be older than I was when I first got into radio, and they thought it was really cute. Because I used to talk like this. I had a real heavy accent, and just, add the little girl to it, and it was like this. They just thought it was so funny whenever I call in and wanted to hear Garth Brooks. So I used to do call-ins, and I started getting prizes to be able to go in, and then they wanted me to do more, and I was like, okay, well, now I'm of age to make some money, so can we do that? So I'm like, that's how I started. Working for free is how I originally started, and I did it for 30 plus years.
Wow. And
until recently.
Do you have a portfolio at dstevensvoice.com?
I have, let's see, I have a demo of my different voices that you can hear. I also have the last radio job that I did. I have a demo of that as well. And if you can find me on LinkedIn, that's where my resume is.
I hear you. You know what? I just realized I'm going to get Al's TikTok Q T-shirt for sure. I'm going to order that when I got to get back to America first time. I bought a ticket to the West Coast, but I ended up in Nigeria. I forgot to say North America. Yeah. I ended up. So it just kind of happened. So.
But it's been a journey. As far as I woke up back in, I would say 91. I'm not even going to get into the story because I don't have enough time to. But I do have on my own. Enjoy the show.
We can add
They
time.
can't see me on radio. I always forget that. But if you go online and you find Jim's website, YouTube, you're going to be able to see a picture of all these wonderful T-shirts that are on, and I'm going to go and change this because I'm broadcasting it too. And in broadcasting, I want to share these T-shirts. And Jim, you know where to go. Oh, I love that. God wins. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I know they can't see this on the radio. Okay, what is the website for them to go to, Jim?
P2Pprinting.com will get you the T-shirts, but our major website is isitwetyet.com, and you can access all of our different web products there. But this is not like an infomercial. This is the story behind the story. I want to know what's behind, what got you involved in the name of the show is The Story Behind the Story. So what got you involved in radio? And it was the call in, and you started working for free until you got paid, and that's called interning, you know?
Well, yeah, back in that day, it was just you were a listener and you called in, and then it grew from there to doing different voices. And I heard myself on the radio. I even took a cassette player and recorded myself whenever I went and called in for requests. And I just got the radio bug, and I worked hard to get where I was. And I've done everything in radio, from being on the air to managing a radio station, being a consultant for a radio station. So I've done all of it pretty much, except for owning one.
Well, there you go. And these days, owning a radio station, only a select few are allowed to.
Exactly.
You know, it's like they used to have a rule or a law that you could only own like a certain percentage of the radio stations. But that law seems to have gone away. Either that or they have taken that percentage literally and say, okay, there's 20%. So there's 20% for you, and you. And then there's only 5 people that own all the radio in the whole country.
It's 6, but yeah.
Radio stations. I mean, I know of a couple that are one owner owners.
Yeah.
And usually they're AM stations. But there's a couple that are hanging in there, but they're pretty much going under because of the fact that it's really tough. It's really tough to have a radio station.
It's so funny that at the time I was trying to get these few. There was a few years ago, it was like 19% of the radio stations left were independent. And at that time, I was contacting all the independent radio stations and saying, you need to get an app. And we had a nice radio app, and we just wanted to relabel it for each radio station. And of course, get paid, because that's how we made money. And they were like, no, we're going to do it through iHeart. We're going to do it through whatever. But you know what? Most of those guys have lost their stations already, and they have no more listeners, and it's all other people's listeners on apps. Nobody listens to the radio at all. Even you're driving around in your car, you're streaming your radio through your telephone. It's like, you can bring them to the water, but you can't make them drink. You know, it's one of those things.
Absolutely.
So we don't do apps anymore for other people, but someone's like eating popcorn in the back because we're barbecuing. We're in the ship show here. We are at Port Harcourt, and that is in Nigeria. And maybe I've got some listeners in the way to. Here in Nigeria, everything's owned by China now, so it's got to go through the Great Firewall to get out to America. And you might hear that crunching coming from that. So as far as the other guests on the radio show, though, I don't know if anybody else can actually get on here and talk. And now it's Ninja Stunt's turn. Ninja Stunt. Whoa, that's so cool. White hat, black hat. Choose wisely. Yeah. I want that one too. Okay. So, hey, Ninja Stunts, it's your turn. You have 5 minutes on the clock. Ninja Stunts.
Thanks for having me on. Very new to this. I don't normally speak, but lately I have been.
You are allowed to speak.
Not sure what else to discuss, but maybe I have some tips. I have, coming from Hacker News, mage card hackers have found executing credit card skimming attacks against several websites leveraging holographic domains and infected copycat favicon icons and evasive phishing attacks. So using credit card skimmers as means, there's different doors and ways for people to get there's intrusion methods, ways that people can steal data. So do keep in mind to buy yourself some sort of a RFID cover, some sort of a sleeve for your debit cards or your wallet, something like that. And then I have something coming from this is Hack 5, I believe is the name of the group. This is only available to paid LastPass subscribers, but it's pretty cool. She suggests that LastPass can now proactively tell you if your passwords have been compromised. So LastPass is a program that you can, I believe, download, and it should be able to archive your passwords and also generate your own passwords. It does like a computer generation, I believe. Jim uses LastPass. Don't you use LastPass?
Did I use what?
LastPass, the program.
I've never used LastPass. I keep my passwords written down in a little book that I keep in my pocket.
Okay, so you're old school.
Oh, I want a Space Force shirt.
I don't use the cloud.
Always remember to use different variations. But yeah,
Yeah.
keeping it on copies is a good thing.
I think our radio show's coming along well. We need to do this again. Oh, and our engineer says, forget about LastPass. It is from a country that we don't want to do business with. And that it includes a lot of spyware. And this is the guy this guy's pretty, well, I take his advice when it comes to tech.
Okay, that's good to know. All right.
Yeah.
There's different programs out there, so do keep in mind where they're, what developers are using these programs to promote their security, cybersecurity. There's like so many different tools you can get, so many programs that can help you, with your organization or passwords. But yes, we do suggest using hard pen and paper or pencil and paper. Put it somewhere you can physically look at versus just on your actual hardware.
And when you do that, I recommend this, that you don't write the name of the site with the password in case your notebook gets lost. Then it's
Definitely
just
easier.
gibberish.
Yep.
And another one of my security engineers is the one that told me to do this. And said, you're just like looking at trouble if you put your same password into multiple companies. Because if that company gets hacked and your password gets out there, and that's happened to all of us, you know, that's happened to just about everybody. Then you get these like 10-year-old kids that send you emails saying, "Oh, you have your password."
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's my password. That
was fished.
years ago. Oh, to Q or not to Q? That is the question.
That's a nice one.
Hey, Al, no pants today. Love it. Nice legs. Okay, so your time is up, my friend. You are almost out of the time. You have 10 seconds. I'm going to pass it on to Phil, but Phil, you got to turn your microphone on. We can't hear you on the show here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
You got 5 minutes. What's up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, one thing I guess I wanted to mention, definitely, is what I've been seeing lately. Probably a lot of people have been noticing this on Facebook and Twitter. You know, they're really, really, really cracking down on a lot of things. BitChute also. BitChute, which is a YouTube alternative, they were posting on Twitter about how, you know, you can post any BitChute link. It can be a picture of Florida tourist attractions. It will not show the link. It will not allow you to post that link because everything from BitChute is bad, apparently. Just because they don't censor in the same way that YouTube does, Twitter is suppressing them. Speaking of suppression, both Twitter and Facebook are suppressing the hashtag Save the Children because it's quote unquote QAnon adjacent. Oh my gosh, you know, God forbid that we talk about institutional child trafficking and, you know, the kind of stuff that the Epstein case was all about, because you got to be a crazy conspiracy theorist to believe what's already been proven. But yeah, absolutely. There, you know, we're going to see more and more of this kind of thing as we get closer to, you know, election season. It's already on the upswing, and I think they're only getting started. They're going to do you know, I saw a headline saying that, you know, U.S. intelligence forces are saying that China, Iran, and Russia will all be trying to influence our election. Who needs foreign nationals when you've got Silicon Valley with much more control over what people see, hear, and think? Yeah, that's who I'm worried about meddling and manipulating. Silicon Valley, you know, like I'm not China's best friend. I'm not their big pal. But you know what? When it comes down to it, Silicon Valley is what we have to worry about when it comes to manipulating media and controlling what we're allowed to see. So yeah, that was the main thing I had to say for starters here. We can head on to Burdock or whoever else is there.
Well, okay, Burdock, you are up, and Phil has yielded you 2 minutes and 25 seconds, so you have 7 minutes and 23 seconds to go.
Well, thank you, sir. Let me know if you want me to turn the mic on. I think there's a slight delay. I can turn the.
There's a 30-second delay between the radio and the TV. I mean, the YouTube.
Well, if you need me to unmute on the ship show, I can. But if this is working out for you guys, that's good. It's probably better audio.
I think they can hear it. I'm holding my headphone up to the microphone.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I came across this article, and this is just terrible. We need to address this. A Virginia rape suspect who was released from jail because of concerns regarding the new coronavirus, the China virus, went on to kill the woman who had accused him.
Oh my God.
Come on. This is, you know, the Washington Post was first to report that Abraham E. Buachi shot and killed the woman in late July after he was released on April 9th, according to the newspaper and Alexandria police. Dude Man was indicted last year on charges that included rape, strangulation, and abduction. Woman identified as Carla Elizabeth Dominguez Gonzalez testified against Alexandria in Alexandria District Court in December. So this guy, this is just crazy. I mean, they're letting rapists, violent criminals out, and what do you think is going to happen? I mean, this is the worst thing, the absolute worst thing. They're going to throw people in jail for not wearing a face mask, and they're going to let rapists out who go and kill anyone that accused them or anyone that testified against them in court. I mean, think of all the requests that are going on in prison for these guys that might get marked for early release, because obviously if you're in prison and people say, well, hey, they're not going to let you out because you're a violent criminal, but no, that doesn't matter. They're going to let you out. And here we have it. This is disgusting by all, any way that you look at it. There is no reasoning other than politics. They are unleashing, they're absolutely using this virus to create riots. They're using the whatever reason that they need. They're creating a double effect by releasing all of these prisoners and then calling for the abolition of police. On all fronts, America is getting attacked right now. And it's by obviously a very singular, cohesive party that has nothing to do with blacks, has nothing to do with police brutality, and has nothing to do with the virus. This is 100% political, and it has been decided among the deep state, among the press, the Democrats, which are pretty much the same thing, and obviously the people who own big tech. They are all in it together, and there are just a very few number of people that are pushing the buttons, and they'll do everything. I mean, we've seen it with Gorsuch. I thought that was the end. I really did. Manufacturing a rape sentence. Multiple rape accusations, gang rape accusations against a man in order to make sure he doesn't get on the Supreme Court. Nobody got charged with that, and every single person that stood up and swore to tell the truth, nobody decided to prosecute these people. And one of the dudes, Avenatti, turns around and goes and tries to bribe Nike out of $20 million. And I mean, here's the thing. This is what I think should happen. They need to go to Avenatti and start talking about, hey, who else influenced you and who else paid for all of this with Gorsuch? I'm still upset about that. A lot of crime was committed. Cory Booker should be in prison right now. All of the people that went forward and decided to go after Gorsuch, they need to, I mean, Avenatti, he's not exactly a stand-up guy. If you ask him, hey, listen, will you testify against these people because you colluded with them in order to deny a Supreme Court justice admission to the Supreme Court, he would turn on anyone and stab anyone's back in order to avoid or lessen his prison sentence. And Nike, you know what? Too bad. I mean, I don't care. Nike's a big enough company. I mean, you have to think of the victim, Nike. I don't think of Nike as being a victim. Nike is participating in a lot of this stuff, and I, you know, if Avenatti gets off of his charges against Nike, I'm not feeling sorry for that company. I don't think that it's any coincidence that their headquarters is in Beaverton, Oregon, and you know, Kaepernick has got I don't know what. I mean, it was something crazy. It's certainly an 8-figure contract with Nike right now. Madness. We need to start taking a look at these companies and responsibility to, and this is going to end up, mark my words, when we do an audit and it gets done with Black Lives Matter, and you take a look at companies like Amazon who gave $50 million to people who then in turn burned down one of their warehouses and then got, you know, Amazon's insured. So they probably, if you find out that anything was suspect with that insurance claim. If there was something that was claimed on that policy that wasn't in that building, now you've got a major fraud because you basically paid for arson. Okay, I mean, there's so much crime involved in all of this. Everybody needs to take a very, very close look at it. We can't make it too complicated, but I think what I just described it's not that confusing. It really isn't. And if we start prosecuting these people for these crimes, again, you're going to get it's not like we're talking about people who are very moral. Once you get somebody on something, they're going to turn against each other. And that's what needs to happen. And we need some decent judges. And thank God Donald Trump appointed some and got some in who maybe on appeal will set the truth straight here. And I will cede the rest of my time back to you, Jim.
Okay, well, I'm here, and probably I'm the only one people can hear because you guys turned off your mic for the live stream. You know, it would have, if you left your mic on the live stream but turned your volume off on your YouTube, people would be able to hear that. But do you realize it's not the Democrats being anti-police. In the 90s, the Democrats were pro-police. And we got 200,000 extra policemen on the streets of America to clear up the crime from the Democrats.
I mean, Clinton's the Super Predators Act.
Bill, so that people aren't realizing that, and those are the experienced law enforcement that we have now, and they were newbies back then, and now it's the same party that's like kicking them to the streets, and you're right about the reason why. It's because they're caught. This deep state people are caught in all of their lies, and so they have to make as big of a mess as possible until they can escape. They have to secure their assets, and then they have to make haste and escape to wherever they're planning to go, where they can't be extradited from. And I don't know where that is these days. Probably Antarctica. I don't know. The secret base on the dark side of the moon. They can afford it. They probably have one just exclusive for them. So yeah, those 200,000 law enforcement agents that William Jefferson Clinton put on the street, just take them back off, and then we save money at the same time. But people don't remember, it was pretty sucky back then. We had a lot of crime on the streets, and now it's a lot better, or it was until this year. So don't think about it as anything other than let's take advantage of the police at the opportune time. It's a big crime time, so we'll take advantage. It's a not big crime time, so we'll take advantage. There is so much detail involved in this plan that I don't think it's possible for them to win. Although it's looking kind of scary from the mainstream media point of view these days, I do believe there are a ton of people out there that are just silently not accepting this. And they're going to vote against it. Unfortunately, we have the mail-in vote coming, and that's starting in a lot of states are already voting. I mean, it's like coming now. So we're going to end up with all of these fake ballots and mailed-in ballots and double ballots. It's going to take months and months for it to get straightened out. Who's going to be president when Donald Trump's term expires? And they haven't finished the vote because it's going to be close. It's close every year now because half of America is Democrat and half is Republican, and a couple percent are undecided every year. So it's going to be close. While they figure that out, you know who gets to be president? Am I offline again?
No. I was waiting for you to answer.
Oh, okay. I guess what do they call it? Gravitas or whatever. the Speaker of the House gets to be president. I guess they'd be President Pro Tem, which is for now. And how long is that going to be? Once the president gets in there, I'm sure that she'll find a way to make that last as long as possible. And then all of a sudden, the Senate, which is very close to even, is going to be dominated by the House of Representatives and the unelected president of the United States. And they're going to do their best to change everything until that election is finalized, which could maybe be forever. The way they're acting now, let's get rid of the police, let's burn our cities down, let's burn our federal courthouses down. What are they going to do when they have the power? It is in all of our best interests not to do the mail-in ballot for that reason. I hate to be like saying it, but it's one of those things. And we got to keep this Maxwell lady alive. The longer she stays alive, the more people are going to be taken down. You know, it is as disgusting a woman as she seems to be. But it's we have to keep her alive so that she can produce more evidence, and that'll help take some of these people down. But think about who's going to run America come January. Just imagine what's going to happen if we do a mail-in ballot and they haven't finished counting the ballots, or there's going to be a whole heck of ton of ballots that are wrong, that are like printed in Moldavia and sent to America by a steamship, and they're going to show up with like everybody's going to have a written in for like whoever, you know, it could be end up being Oprah being the president because everybody wrote in Oprah. How did we know? It could happen. Oprah might not be such a bad president, although she's got a lot of luggage. but everybody likes her.
The more you know. Jim, I've got both mics open now, so let me know if any of this is. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work.
Everyone can.
So I'm gonna let's try muting mute Revolution Radio on this one.
Yeah, mute Revolution Radio. That'll work, and just be on here. You have to choose. Mute one. It's your turn to talk again, Phil.
Well, I'm getting feedback again on yours. I'm gonna switch back just to Revolution Radio.
Oh no, guys.
Okay.
You can hear the Revolution Radio.
Sorry about that.
If you turn Revolution Radio off. I have
well, let me we'll try it again here in a second. I just wanted to say one thing about Oprah is she got on and was talking about how people are just absolutely, if you're even the poorest white person, the guilt of you being white is overwhelming. There's a black billionaire woman saying that she is free of that guilt. She was born free of it, and she's not privileged at all. I mean, there was the most disgusting display. I can't imagine if she became president. I just wanted to interject that, and we'll try some combos with the mics in a sec. I was hearing reverb.
Try a couple combos. So I'll let the ship show know that Burdock had talked about the fact that Oprah believes in the white privilege, and
she's a billionaire. She's got billionaire privilege.
Yeah,
there's no privilege like billionaire privilege. OJ was black, and he got away with murder. Why? Because he was a millionaire.
No, because the glove didn't fit.
He had millions. I'm old enough to remember. You remember when it was Republicans who were primarily had the fundamentalists who wanted to cancel everything and censor everything and believed in original sin? And now it's the liberals who want to cancel everything and believe in original sin and want everything censored. It's kind of weird how things flip-flopped there.
It's a definition. Don't lump the liberals with the left wing. The left wing and the right wing are more close than the liberals and the conservatives. The liberals and conservatives hover towards the middle.
Corporatist, DNC, whatever you would call it.
Wing,
the neoliberals.
Up there on the skin feathers of the wings. Those people are wildly radical. They're not. I consider myself a liberal, but I realize in reality I'm probably on these days I'm like a populist towards the middle, moderate, a little bit conservative, because I don't believe in abortion, so that puts me over to the conservative side of things. But reality is I'm a liberal. I've always considered myself a liberal, but it just kind of society changed to turn me into a conservative. But conservatives and liberals are closer together than the right wing and the left wing people are. The people on the right wing are the people that are goose stepping through Berlin, and the people on the left wing are the ones that are hanging out with Che Guevara. I mean, these are the you gotta think about where you're coming from. But the normal people have got to go to work in the morning. They got to get up and they got to be to work at the office at 9 a.m. or they got to punch into the factory, or they're there at the flight line and they're humping a toolbox on their shoulder, whatever, That's the normal people, whether they're Republican or Democrat, and their real things are you're pro-abortion, you're anti-abortion, you're pro-union, you're anti-union, things like that. Those are the things that are separating people right now, the normal people. But the people on the left wing are being separated by, well, I want to change our form of government. And I really do think that we should only allow certain people to vote, and the other people just need to go to work, and we will, if they don't work, we will feed them, and they need to go to our appropriate schools, and we will retrain them and to think in a new way so that they can function in our new society that we're building. And on the right side, they're saying, yeah, we will butcher all of those people, and we will put them in internment camps, and we will use their organs to keep ourselves alive forever. That's not where the normal people on the liberal or conservatives are, but that's where the right wing and the left wing are. Do you understand what I'm talking about, Burdock?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's people have gone. I'm a social liberal, okay, but I'm a libertarian first and a fiscal conservative second. And so it depends on where you're living and what the economic times are and what you're addressing in politics. But as long as you've got money, I say it's the government's job to make sure that the economy is good and we've got money. And once we've got money, then we can spend it as long as it's done wisely, and preferably with responsible private sector sections, to help people, to give tax breaks to the right people, to help promote ideas that people in your area. And as long as the government trends on getting more and more local, I say you'll find me as being as socially liberal as you're talking about. So, I mean, we disagree on a couple of things here and there, but in general, when it comes to policy, I think we understand that there has to be a level of common sense before you can go out and start doing good. You can't have this nonsense in your head about this dreamland. You can't ignore reality, and so that's why I do completely understand. We are coming up on 4 a.m. here in Lagos, and it's about let's see, it's going to be about 5 more minutes before we get over to the. We're going to be taking a break, so at 11 a.m. Pacific time, Eastern time, we'll be taking a break in about 4 minutes now. So I'll pass it back to you. 3 minutes until the break. Pass it back to you, and then I will let the folks know what we're going to be expecting the next hour. We've got another hour of this. I'm so excited.
We do.
And hopefully in the
hold on for another hour of Ship Show on the Revolution Radio.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you've got it. I've opened the second mic, and I'm still hearing a little bit, but
that's going to work better.
We'll do it one way or another.
If you turn your Revolution Radio off, then you can go through my system all the way.
We'll try that. Just a moment.
Because it was working good that way, and everyone could hear you. But so they should be able to hear you now on Revolution Radio.
Okay. So we'll do it that way. And I'm muted over on Revolution Radio, and we're just going straight through you.
Better.
Awesome. Everything in my 5x5, everything cool?
Norma Wong says it's better. Dragonfly Sparkle says it's better. I'm going to shout out. We got a minute left. I'm going to shout out as many people as I can in our chat room on national radio. I got Southpaws and Uncle Bone Stew and Ella Mahila OMH and Dragonfly Sparkles and Norma Wong and Baby Fist and Bert and Right on Q and who else? Q the More You Know and oh my goodness, I've got Blue Eyes and Ninja Stunts and Johnny Appleseed and who else we got here? We got more. Tommy Omart and Bert. I said Bert already. Wow, you guys are just talking Spitfire 1592. Gladys Elsa Kirkpatrick. And she says that Al's yoga pants are awesome. I can't wait. I have all of this stuff ordered, but it's just sitting there waiting for me to get back to America because I am having some work to do here in Nigeria. Speaking of Nigeria, did you guys realize that Bill Gates tried to give the representatives here in the legal system $10 million each to fast track his mandatory vaccine program through in Nigeria? I suppose that would be a whole metric ton of money for his company if that went through. And I got Geonut here, and I've got RV there yet, and Patreon Simone. She is pretty awesome. She was on the show the other day too. And anyway, thanks for coming on the Ship Show, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. What have we got? About a break time there? Top of the hour. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a top of the hour.
Story behind the story on Revolution.
Let me see.
On Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. We have Jim Watkins, and this is a special moment for all of us. We have Jim Watkins and the whole Ship Show here on the story behind the story with Dr. H. Watt, Revolution Radio. Go to revolution.radio, and we are in Studio B, and you can also find us at freedomslips.com. Go ahead, we don't get paid for this. Feel free to donate. We will be back at the top of the hour here in a bit, and Godspeed to everybody. I thought I heard a little music there, but
we keep going.
Hey. In just a second.
We just talk anyway.
Keep going. So, yeah, it's a beautiful day, and we're going to just keep filling the airwaves. And I think it's great what you're doing, Jim, having all of these different people. And we should remark in the second hour that Dee Stevens has her own show. Ninja Stunts has his show. I've been on his show. He's great, awesome. People are building their shows. And we need to keep doing it. Make sure to just connect And once we get all of this rigged up, we'll have a whole group of happy patriots who love God and their country and the United States of America. And
apple pie too. I miss apple pie.
And we're going to do meme wars again too. I don't know. We'll get an update from Jim in the second hour as to how. I know you got a few memes submitted over to 8kun, and we'll see. Maybe kind of review some of those. I put one in, and I put it in anonymously. So I'm curious.
Did it end up? I put a whole bunch online.
I went there, and it wasn't in the cycle. It didn't seem to be cycling in, but. Nonetheless, that's what.
Must not have been good enough.
Maybe I did it too soon or something.
I'll go through and I'm going to put some more on too, because so many people participated. I couldn't just pick one, so I put like 10 on, and they're recycling through the system. And if there's 10 more good ones on there, I'll put 10 more good ones on next. It's having a lot of fun, and it's generating a lot of excitement and interest for what I see as the most important election in the 21st century.
Well, I'm checking over here in the chat on Revolution Radio, and normally we would be going into bumper music a little while back. But
maybe we just have too much ratings going on that they may have just canceled us.
No, I don't think so. I've got them live over here on a separate connect, and so we'll just keep talking all the way through.
Let's keep going.
And if Dom and Roe, just let us know if you need to take a break and run the required adverts at the top of the hour. Let us know. Otherwise, we will just keep going.
In the meantime, we do have some guests for the second hour. We have. Who is here still? We still have Albert Johnson, and we have Dee Stevens and Ninja Stunts and Phil Fairbanks, who is not on the ship show today. He's just the sole one that's only on the radio. And
so, keep going. News from Dom, our producer over there, is keep going. Mr. Rowe canceled the break, so the show is back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Rowe. Namaste. You are my favorite flat earther. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. And you know what? Mr. Rowe has an excellent show on Revolution Radio. What time is that show on? Do you know? Because I'm in Nigeria and my times are off quite often. But Mr. Rowe's show comes on, and he talks about digital currency and cryptology, and he's pretty exciting.
Yeah, if you want to see his show, you just go to the show schedules on revolution.radio. Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific is when you can tune into Mr. Rowe, and it's an awesome show. He's a great guy, and I don't think classifying him necessarily the way you just did. He's on Studio B, so if you go to revolution.radio, check out Studio B, and you will find Mr. Rowe. He touches all aspects. And it's a real broad area to be talking in, and go get nestled in for a couple of hours with him.
And he definitely is full of alternative viewpoints.
Oh, fascinating! Absolutely. He's been on our show, and of course, he can come in and pop in anytime.
Always welcome. Maybe I'll have him on the ship show one of these days.
Oh yeah, that would be great. But you can't have him on Revolution Radio and the ship show and then producing. That would be an echo.
Well, yeah, that's not going to work. We are all, because people don't realize this whole thing is like run for free. Nobody's getting paid here. Nobody at all. And why are we doing this? I don't know, because we're masochists. I don't have any idea why we're doing this, any idea at all. But we're doing it, and we're getting beaten down and abused by the big tech companies. That did you guys hear about the New York Times?
Sorry, Tom. What happened?
They are going through their website and deleting all of their paid articles that were propaganda from China. You see, the Chinese government had paid the New York Times a whole ton of money to write articles that would end up being just because, you know, if it gets published in the New York Times, it gets distributed to just about every newspaper in America and a lot of places in the world. So the Chinese government paid money to the New York Times to get their articles published in there and get them distributed all over everywhere. But now nobody likes China for some reason. I don't know why. But so they're quietly deleting all of their articles. And I saw this in True Pundit today. And True Pundit's pretty, you know, they're sourced material. They're not one of those conspiratard websites. Because they do exist too, guys, just saying. And the audacity of it. So they got the money, and they're going to probably keep the money. I said, I don't think they're going to return the money to China. And you know, one of their biggest stockholders is one of those people that puts up. He has money like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. You know, one of their major stockholders is a Mexican national by the name of Carlos Slim, and he's 1, 2, or 3 all the time, one of the richest guys on earth. So consider your sources, guys, when you watch the newspapers, and just realize if it sounds really disturbing, like this is not right for say the president or something like that, who's pretty much people like him. Face to face, people like the president of the United States. They don't see him as being prejudiced or arrogant for his position or his power or whatever. They see him as a nice guy. So if he's, think about what their reason for not wanting a wall between Mexico and America could be. Could it be that the third richest man on earth has a big share in the New York Times, and he doesn't want a wall built between his country and America? Things like that. I mean, they have all of these different things that are actually propaganda that they spread. And it's not, I'm sorry, I'm picking on the New York Times now, but you know, the Washington Post and the Fluffington Post as well. Did you guys know that the Huffington Post is owned by Verizon?
Oh, wow.
And that their mailing address is the same as AOL's address used to be. So who exactly is the Huffington Post? You know,
it's been a while because we had to ask for them. We requested a retraction.
They didn't give it to me. They published the retraction, the request instead.
Yeah, that was disgusting. But we were talking to the legal team over at Verizon. We had to CC all of those people because I can't remember what it was, but it was something about something that you previously done, a previous network, and that was a nightmare. I remember being on that one and just finding out that no, you had to talk to Verizon, and it's the same thing. If you're talking to, for example, ACX, it's the same deal over there. Yeah. They don't even know. Like I just got into a conversation with them because I said, hey, they canceled one of our accounts. We talked about this on Revolution Radio, and I think on your show, we had a company that I was involved with that is they canceled our company. They just canceled our company, and for no reason, simply because
because I was involved with it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's like anything around you got destroyed at that time, and nobody knew what, why, or how, and it's totally separate people working, and they had no idea. And of course, you have to say, hey, listen, everybody's out of a job because of this. Now, of course, I mean, being sensible people, we found something else that, different line of work. But the point is that when I called, ACX just recently to get because they'd messed over a bunch of the authors and all of the publishers on that side. Because when you're dealing with royalties, you don't know, they're still getting a check. And I guess somehow, I don't know if they will refuse, they just cancel your account and you don't have access to any of the sales or how it broke down. And this is accounting stuff. This is the stuff that you need for taxes and things like that. And so I recently called them and I said, hey, well, you've got to cancel the account. And I said, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But there's agreements that are made. I just need the records. Okay. I'm not here to create a stink. I hope you're having a wonderful day and all of this. And I said, well, if you're not able to do it, can you give me the name of the person that's in charge of your legal department? Now, ACX is its own company. I mean, I think they're probably incorporated in Delaware somewhere, but they're their own company.
New Jersey, I think. I think it's New Jersey.
I would think it'd be Delaware. Yeah, I mean, because of taxes, I would guess Delaware, but it could be New Jersey. Nonetheless, they were unable to even provide me with the name of somebody in their legal department to whom I can give a subpoena. And finally, and the guy obviously, and this is the middle of the work day during the week. And I finally said, well, I'm going to need to talk to somebody, a superior, your manager or something like that. And we refused to do that. And then came back on the line, made me wait 15 minutes, came back on the line and told me that I had to go not through Audible, but I had to go direct to Amazon and deal with their legal department to get records from a totally separate company that is known as ACX.
That's how you bust the corporate veil. You might have if you have some records of that, you might have some good stuff to sue them over.
Oh, man. Well, they record my phone calls. I should start recording theirs. Unfortunately, I didn't on that one.
You can request that. You can request that recording in your interrogatories.
Yeah. And that's not the first time that we came across that group of lawyers, which is probably, I would have to argue the most powerful set of lawyers on earth, because you're going up against those guys when the Washington Post has a problem, and we had a problem with them. And I talked to the managing editor of the Post, and luckily we could work it out with the retraction. We had a writer write something irresponsible, and I made a comment, whether we should keep it up. We should, certainly we dealt with it in the quickest way possible. And unfortunately, that threat was still there. And, she did call me back and said, hey, it's no worries or anything like that. We're really treated me like a colleague, which is good. But that is a huge threat, a massive threat. I mean, the most powerful, the wealthiest man on earth, you can imagine what his team of lawyers looks like, and you don't want to be anywhere near those people. Anyway, kind of a rant, but that's
you're on track. So you got like Verizon and Amazon and the New York Times and these people. They're attempting to control the narrative for the United States of America, and they're being extraordinarily successful at it. And people are saying, whoa, the Huffington Post is losing money. They don't care. Verizon's not losing money. They need to lose money somewhere they're using it. They are getting more money from the propaganda than they are getting from the advertising. So just saying that they get more money that way, because if you have the Huffington Post and there's a Verizon ad in there, and then people join the Verizon network, then there you have it. It's simple, but if I was them, I would sell them, because it's distasteful journalism. It's like, they say the worst things about people, and it's like they're like the people in England that are always talking bad about the Queen of England and stuff. Maybe, she's got her problems, but she likes dogs,
Well, I think it's a lot worse than that. These guys are fabricating, and they lost any sense of morality or ethics so long ago. It's the most disgusting thing. And the problem is nobody, if journalists had done what they're doing 20 years ago, these people would be immediately out on the street. And all they need to do is maybe delete a tweet or just do a little misdirection or attack back. They'll have the whole anyone that goes after them, they'll try to cancel culture them. It is a pure, unadulterated war that has been initiated, and this is why I think it's incredibly important to document the press's involvement in the cancel culture, because when these things go to trial, for example, if Books.audio ended up in front of the judge, the media would also be named. We wouldn't do it without it. I mean, I can't imagine not citing the media as being responsible, because they printed that article that claimed that Amazon, what they do is they claim Amazon is funding domestic terrorism. And that's what got that company shut down. It was that article and that reporter. And it's a little group of reporters and the same little group that broke into your house on the other side of the world over, in the Philippines there. So, I mean, those people need to be brought to task. They need to be brought in front of a judge, and they need to be held culpable.
They have to come back for that. They're on there is a valid arrest warrant out for them, so they have to return. Though I don't think they have I think it's just considered a misdemeanor, so they won't get.
Well, I think it's punishment enough for them not to be able to come back or go back over to the Philippines. I think that's good. And there's there's some other people that have done some terrible things, and frankly, they don't. I mean, I don't think that they want it. They just don't want those problems there. And those people, foreigners, shouldn't be going into other places and doing things like that. And I don't care what country in the world it is, and I hope it doesn't happen to you in Nigeria. I mean, I know.
Well, I came here I got legitimate business in Nigeria. I received an email, and this guy had like 13 billion he needed he needed a check deposited. So here I am. I'm
email from the same prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one of those too. I'm mulling it over. I might have to have my attorney look at it, but yeah, I'm mulling that one over. It looks like a pretty good deal, though.
But the email was, it was honest, because other people, dishonest person would have probably used spell check. But as far as it goes. So we have two other guests that are online, three other guests, because Ninja Stunt is not showing his phone. Face, you guys are being so silent, but we're on national radio. This is your opportunity to be on national radio. Do you have anything you want to comment on the cancel culture, D. Stevens or Albert or Ninja Stunts? Ninja Stunts unmuted his mic. Okay, you're live, big guy.
About the cancel culture, I think it's going to be our turn.
We're going to be canceling back? Ha ha ha. What goes around comes around.
We're going to have our own pushback. And I remember Q saying something like, there will be I told you so's. And that's like in my back pocket every day.
I'm concerned about that, by the way.
There will be I told you so's?
Yeah, I'm concerned for the same reason. It's like the Black Lives Matter debacle that's going on everywhere. You know what? What is that going to do for the civil rights movement of the 1960s? I mean, think about it. the pushback from like burning our cities down for Black Lives Matter is going to be that Cindy and Johnny in Portland, Oregon, the normal people out in the suburbs somewhere that happen to be black, or now they got to worry about getting lynched by the people that are angry that the whole city got burnt down. So the pushback is going to be awful. We have to watch that, and we have to realize that, you know, God's the one that's really responsible for revenge and things. Revenge is not for people, and especially vigilantism. That's not for people either, because 99 city movement. In fact, it's mostly white guys doing it. So we have to realize that that's going to be the big pushback, is that they are going to be putting the civil rights movement of the 60s back 100 years again. We're going back to Sleepy Joe Crow. No, that's a joke anyway. But what do you think it's going to be like? I know you're in Texas, Ninja Stunts. What kind of blowback do you expect for all this canceling stuff in Texas?
Well, obviously, people want to move here because it's a little bit different. There is some people that are just peppered into the state that are trying to attempt to do something, but real quickly it gets stomped out. Like just, what was it? A couple of days ago, there was a small protest that started to kind of break out in San Antonio. And a handful of officers came in with their horses and just brushed them all out of the way. And there was way more people officers and people against that protest. So it was just like, nah, it's not gonna happen.
That's awesome. I know the President Trump has just recommended that the National Rifle Association move to Texas because New York is trying to kick them out.
Yeah, it's something else. I see it happening all over the world in just different areas. Just you have California, if you got New York, you've got all these different Portland. Oh my God, there's so many places that are just like in flames, and I don't want that for my city, my town, my state. And I'm sure everybody here agrees with that. That everybody who lives here, and we try to keep it that way because we see through the BS. A lot of people don't. I mean, everybody has their handful of people who are tapped into that propaganda tool that's sitting in front of them or in their pocket, just scrolling them down. But it can be countered, and that's what we are here for. And I hope we get better. I'm not by any means the expert or the best, or you should follow me, or I really don't care. Like Jim said, we're all here, we're not getting paid, and if we get some donations, cool, that's great, that's wonderful, we can help each other out, and it's basically the American way. That's what it's about. And if you are trying to build a channel or something like that, go for it, do it. There's room for everybody. It shouldn't be so secluded into those little bubbles that you see floating around, those little popularity bubbles. And, I lost so-and-so such an amount. Come back and follow this. I mean, yeah, sure. It's all, it kind of slows down some of the progress, but I get what they're coming from, because you do sort of need some followers, but sometimes that just goes to your head. You get this ego problem that we're faced with, and that's what slows down the fact sharing process.
Like you had yesterday when you put the debunked video up that showed the original catastrophic explosion at the docks in Beirut that didn't show a missile attack, but some of the major Twitter celebrities were tweeting the doctored footage.
Right, and I was watching that in the timeline. I was watching everybody's timestamp coming in. I have a specific list for other things, but yeah, like me personally, when I'm looking through the things, I'm trying to like, you've got the main news feed of things, and then you've got just general public news feed, and that's just going to be flooded with everything. Twitter's going to be doing its thing with its algorithms. You're going to be seeing tweets being disappeared that you have to go back to. Even when you're about to go and read the article, it'll just disappear right after you tried to click on it or something, So I noticed that those popular accounts are going to like propagate a message pretty easily just because they've got a big chunk of followers. So what they don't probably understand is they're like one of the main components of like pushing a hashtag trend or something like that, like real easily. And then they're like, whatever, and let's move on to the next. And well, you could have done a lot of damage with that. You could have done something, like that's what it's all about, like getting that trending, working for us to push the truth and like get the word out instead of it just being pushed under the rug. Oh, cool, it was like a little party or whatever. I mean, it's fun to celebrate, sure, but like let's get it to function. Let's get it to work. Let's get our social media back. Let's get our platform back. Let's I don't plan on like just leaving the platform. I plan on using my notepad full of other accounts that I can just go in and just, there's, everybody can do that. We should be trying a bit more harder. I know it seems like a bit more work to go and make other accounts and such, but it's going to be required if you want to stay on this platform and keep it going. Like if you want to, because these people who are working there, they can't get in trouble. You just got to call them out.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. And of course, we're calling out the friends of billionaires that are shutting us down. But the neat thing about it is we're popping up in other places. So don't be afraid to look for our stream in another place. We're broadcasting this stream in like 10 different places right now, and including on the radio. Of course, some of the guests aren't being heard, and I'm sorry, Revolution Radio, if it didn't work, but we just kind of took the ship show to the radio today.
I think everything's 5x5 here. Otherwise, Don Moreau would be saying something. You're just basically the only guest. We're just one huge guest on Revolution Radio right now. I wondered if you don't mind, and just Stunts was talking about. I think that it's pretty clear right now that at any time it should be more evident than now is that we have a common enemy. All of us, and it's shown its face. It is shown its face, and it's in the name of China.
Science?
It's in the name of the Democratic Party. It's in the name of the, and I hate to say this, Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They're clearly the enemy.
Of America, not just the Republicans, of America.
Yeah, and so everybody. Yeah, you're either for America or you go and start burning Bibles and flags, okay? And I think that if we stick with that, it's pretty simple. And as the closer we get to the election, you won't have people are scared. They're scared of losing their jobs. They're scared of getting canceled and losing whatever, especially if you have any sort of if your income or your business depends on the internet, then you're in terrible shape if you speak out, because at any moment they're going to go through and wave cancel everybody. They'll use a celebrity and they'll say, oh, well, we banned this guy. And then we hit another 50,000 accounts. And
it's happening on Twitter again right now.
Everybody here has been one of them. I mean, it's either losing an account or losing business. And it's clear they wanted to destroy free speech. They wanted to destroy people who were patriots. They want to destroy people who support the military, the Second Amendment. Look at what's happened on YouTube. I mean, and, Albert Johnson, I mean, if you look at like bunker branding, guys in the same line of work you're in, those are a bunch of gun guys. I don't know if you know. I know that they do high volume and they have to be careful who they take as clients. But that's an instance where people got together and they realized they couldn't get monetized on YouTube, so they went to merchandise. And so Matt Carricker down in Texas, started a bunker branding, and they're doing really well. And it really does come to us fighting right now the enemy, which is Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and big tech, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, canceling everybody. And but we're still here, and we might not make as much money, but we're not going to give up. That's the whole point. And I guarantee you, all of this stuff that we're seeing with the virus and with all of these riots, after the president gets reelected, it'll calm down, and they'll have something. They'll need to regroup what a disaster they've made of their own party, and it'll be you'll have tantrums after the election, and that'll just be anger and denial, and they'll never get through the entire process of grieving, which they certainly did.
I'm concerned about the election coming up, that it won't be fair, it won't be free, and it won't be accurate, and it won't be timely enough for the end of the president's term.
Well, that's when your network comes in, Jim, because I used certainly your previous network for Pennsylvania. There was a group of us that got together. We were very concerned about certain districts, certain counties that had a terrible, terrible history of voter fraud. And so we targeted those areas, and in an incredibly legal way, scared everybody over there, thinking that because we couldn't afford to put pen cams and cameras, covert listening devices, and video recording devices, we couldn't afford to do that. So what we did was give them the impression that they were already in place in those areas, and that seemed to, it seemed to scare people into not committing voter fraud. And so those are small things, and that all happened. All of those people started that on your previous network. So that's, and the memes. The memes are so incredibly important, and that's the reason that they wanted you canceled. I was in Reno when Hillary Clinton was giving a speech, and she was slated to go down to Las Vegas. And I was going to go over. I was going to watch it, but something else came up. I was busy, but I did watch it on TV, and I heard her mention the name of your previous network in her speech, and talking about how vile these people were. Well, of course, we knew that Correct the Record was, paid $200,000.
How come we never get $200,000 for anything?
Yeah, no kidding. No, and the other thing too is, like, what's amazing is the amount of money that they're spending on DDoS and everything to take you down. Even back then, it's got to be like 5 times what it takes to keep your network up. Which that's no joke. That's really hugely expensive. But the amount of money that it takes, just think about it, that they're spending to take it down is probably 5 times what you're using to operate it. And this whole time around, their funds seem to be unlimited. Each attack that's coming, you can pretty much understand how many different IP addresses are being used to have these attacks on your network, and where they get them from, and how much they cost. And it's in the 6 figures. And so, and they're doing so many that you can kind of tabulate what their budget is, if they even have one. So that's what's so endearing about the fact that you're fighting on with this, and it's back up, and they want to take you down more than ever, because I believe that memes won the presidency in 2016. That's exactly what pushed it over, and along with it being an area where people had to have anonymity in order to discuss their they were getting fired back then for supporting Trump on any sort of Twitter account. And you can't expect your information to be, they're going to bleed it out. They'll make sure that if you're popular on Twitter and you want to keep your anonymity, they'll make sure that you don't. And that's the, opposite environment as 8kun.top is. So
that's one of the reasons why so many Hong Kongers were using it to demonstrate back beginning in June. Well, even before June, the HK poll board was one of our top visited boards.
They'll have to wipe away their tears.
That's right.
With blood. And yeah. So that's what I got to say. Sorry for the rant. It's something I'm passionate about.
You keep going if you want. It's Phil's got something to say too. Phil, it's your turn to talk.
Oh well, yeah. That just along those same lines, people are always going to try and make it sound like anonymity.
Skype only. He didn't get he's the last member in the members only.
Oh yeah. I had to disconnect and come back to the studio because I'm recording Hardline afterwards. But anonymity is going to become increasingly important. I believe that the right to anonymity ties into our Fourth Amendment implied right to privacy. And, it's not about dodging responsibility, as some people would say. Sometimes, like whistleblowers and leakers, and there's a lot of situations, the Hong Kong situation, where you can't necessarily put your name next to your opinion and be safe, and your family be safe, and your finances be safe the next day. And sometimes, though, those are things that need to be said. And so, yeah, we need platforms like 8kun and BitChute and, all these, they call us alt tech. Ninja was talking earlier about, sites not having to be held accountable because, they can disappear a story. They can edit it without adding, a retraction notice. And it used to be like, it's still so for now. But there's even a war against the archiving sites. And I believe that is so that we can live in a literal 1984 world where overnight the news stories can all change and there's no way to save the old version. Like once they get rid of the archiving sites, they're gonna say, oh, because of the environment, you can't make hard copies and print things anymore for the same reason, so that you won't be able to hold the media accountable for. But you said this 3 days ago, a week ago, a month, a year ago. That's about it.
Okay, so as far as the archiving goes, there are blockchain archive sites now, like SuzuCoin has one. It's Suzu Chain, and if you make, I think it's under 500 characters or less, you can archive it forever to the blockchain. And whether that, and you just click a button to archive it. Plus, 8kun.top is archived automatically by default, unless if you're a board owner, you click Do Not Archive in the settings. So there is some archiving available there. And you hit on the memes there, Burdock. We have a meme contest that's ongoing now. We're putting up memes for, because in the 2016 election, 8chan was one of the largest refers to the President Trump's domain name for his, what do you call it when you run for election? His campaign. There we are. I see. I'm out of words now. It's getting to be a long day. This is the third show I've been on today. Then the 8kun comes along and it doesn't have any banners up for President Trump. So I said, you know what? Let's have a contest to make some banners. And we're calling those banners mean. But if you go to 8kun.top/pen, PEN, like a pen, then you can put some banners on. I already put 10 up and rotating, and I'm going to rotate them out because I was going to have just one be the winner, but No, I'm going to put, if it's a decent one and it's the right size, needs to be 300 by 250. And some people put some excellent ones on there, but they're not sized correctly. You need to upload it again with the right size. And we'll get those on. And perhaps 8 Kuhn can be one of the top refers to the campaign for 2020. It could happen. You never know.
Again, you mean? Is that what happened in 2016?
No, 8chan was in 2016, but 8 Kuhn is a whole different owner, a whole different ball of wax. It's a whole different boomer type program going there. 8 Kuhn's, wow, someone's sharing here. All right, you got the floor. Who's sharing my lady, Kaylee? You are on. Kaylee's up.
No, that's the meme that I submitted to 8kun.tot/pen. That's my meme.
Okay.
I don't know if it made the comment.
It didn't, but it ought to. It ought to, because it's got Kaylee on it, and she's such a good face for the White House.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You said it, not me. Thank you for sharing that. I will put that one up for sure. For sure. So let's move on to the next person to talk. We have Albert Johnson again. He showed us a lot of T-shirts, and people are already commenting on them in the chat room. Would you like to talk some more about them, Albert?
Sure. I appreciate all the screen time. I didn't know what to do on screen for all that time. And but yeah, just showing off a bunch of products. No, really. When they're trying to chat with a bunch of people, it's hard to keep up with, getting messages on 5 different platforms. So if I have missed one of your comments in the chat, I do apologize. I'm trying to scroll through, but yeah, I'm going to be adding a bunch of new shirts soon. I got some Save the Children themed shirt that I've been working on. So,
what about headbands?
Really see those protests in California and everything. I really feel like that topic is what will get the quote unquote silent majority out there in the streets to the point where the media will not be able to hide it anymore. Which they've been doing a decently successful job. Until Wayfair, I've noticed that Wayfair scandal really woke up a lot of people.
I don't understand it. Can you explain it? I don't understand the Wayfair scandal.
Well, I work part-time in a hospital, and all the nurses there, they mainly just use Instagram, right? And this woke all of them up to this whole human trafficking issue.
Search hot nurse on Instagram.
Yeah, I've been talking about it with them for years, and they've been calling me crazy and all that stuff. So, and then all of a sudden on their Instagram feed, they start seeing all this Wayfair stuff when all that news broke about these armoire cabinets and throw pillows that were being sold for $10,000 to $15,000, and they had names of missing children in the description and everything. So all these sorts of people started making connections to that and human trafficking. But it was just so funny. It's all these nurses I worked with, they were enraged by it. It drove them insane because it was messing with the e-commerce sites that they shop on. And I don't know, I find it hilarious because they've been listening to me talk about, Pizzagate and all these different topics for 4 years now. And then this is what, broke it open for them. And now that's all they talk about. They're texting me and calling me and, hey, did you see this new thing? Did you see that? And it's really given me a good sense of we're winning so hardcore. Which is why Twitter is purging, all the QAnon stuff now, because we're reaching that critical mass of, people awakening to all this stuff, and it's just terrifying them. And that's why, people get nervous seeing all the censorship, but I just see it as we are winning so much that they are just terrified and will just start banning everyone. I mean, I'm actually surprised that, some of us are still on Twitter. They banned before I got connected to Akun, I was posting a bunch of, just meme shirts on Trump's Twitter feed. And I learned pretty quickly that will get you banned.
I'm sure.
Very quick.
Yeah, I'm sure. Speaking of that, what is your Twitter account?
It's just at P2P Printing.
Okay. Not that I want to get you banned or anything. I'm just it's at P2P Printing.
Right. I'm so censored there. I mean, I've commented on this earlier in the chat. I mean, I have like 7,000 followers and I get 50 impressions on a tweet.
Oh, you should probably just go direct to your website then. What's your website?
P2pprinting.com.
P2pprinting.com. Okay, that's cool. So Dee had some stuff to talk about the children issues too. So Dee, what do you think about your mic is muted there, young lady?
I got it. I just had to undo it there for a second. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Hang on. I had to put my mic back on the second broadcast that's going on while we're doing this. So yes, I've done several different digs, and I do know exactly what Albert's going through as far as, even though I have low numbers, and Ninja mentioned it just a few minutes ago in regards to people tooting their horn and saying, well, I can't remember who it was, and it doesn't matter because I'm not going to call them out on the carpet, but in case they are watching this show, when you start going and print screening your own
screen
accounts, you're putting two beside each other to go, oh, this is how many followers I had, whoever the platform is, and now this is how many, and, I'm going to get you kind of thing. It's like, you're not doing this for the right reason. The right reason is to get the truth out, and I'm sorry, but I sure didn't do this to get popular. Been there, done that, got many T-shirts and radio from it.
There should be a black and gray T-shirt that says Shadow Band.
Oh yeah, there you go, Albert. There's an idea right there.
I like that idea, Jim.
Yeah.
I like it very much so. I'd wear one of those. I mean, I'd wear just about anything that he's shown tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna order like half a dozen of these things. I just got to figure out which ones I can and what sizes. What sizes do they come in?
Well, this new shirt brand that I have that I just printed, these Joiner 404, it goes up to 2XL now. They didn't have any 3XL in stock. Once they have more, I'll order some more. But
what about the small sizes?
I can't. It's hard to find, these big shirts. I get messages occasionally, people wanting 4XL or
Well, they want it for a sleep shirt.
Specific new type of shirt just for the bigger QAnon supporters.
Well, it's not just for the bigger QAnon. Some ladies like to wear them as night shirts.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. Or to the beach as a throw.
I'm just going to wrap it around my neck, and it's going to be a throw.
No, you know what I mean. For you to walk down to the beach because you don't want everybody staring at you.
Got it. Yeah, I get it. Because you don't want to be like Daisy Duke in the beach.
I'm going to the beach in a bathing suit, but I don't want anybody to see me until I get down to the water.
Oh, you girls, you need to realize the boys are going to the beach to see you in your bikini. So you're going to be stared at harder if you make it harder for them to see what they want to see.
Oh man! All right, so going back to what you were saying a while ago, and what Ninja was saying. Let's see if I can remember where I left off. Yeah, if you're on Twitter and you're going, okay, this is how many followers I had, this is how many followers I have now, and ooh, Jack, it's like, really? That doesn't make any sense to me, because that means that you are only on the platform to toot your own horn, to you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. I do. I know what you mean. I need to let a couple other guys talk, and we only have 10 minutes left of the show. But I appreciate you guys here, and I need to let Burdock come on and give his last little bit, and I got to let Ninja give his last little. Ninja, you get to talk one more time.
Okay, you want to go now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we're all here just to use the platform as it is. And, I mean, yeah, if you want to post pictures about puppies or something, cool. If you want to toot your own horn, then we're gonna notice that. We're gonna see that. But it's funny because a lot of these people who are big tend to not even know who Jim is, and I don't even understand that at all. I really don't know why. They kind of know quite a bit, but they end up showing their true colors. They're sometimes. I still follow all of those big accounts because sometimes you're going to find some interesting threads or information that just gets dumped. Maybe some interesting findings on some files or some video clips or some images that maybe could be reverse image searched. There's all kinds of things that big accounts are good for, but also at the same time, you got to be a little bit cautious because sometimes they'll also attack you, or their followers will attack you. So it's kind of weird because it's like we're fighting. We're infighting when we should be, uniting. It's like we already see people, Antifa, lefty people, just creating damage. We don't want that with our own people as well. It's like, we've got to start to clean up the atmosphere a little bit. I haven't yet met too many people who want to attack me, or directly. I mean, I welcome it. It's not even a big deal for me. It's just like, you're on the internet, bro. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. I really just, we're all here just to help each other out. It's like, did they forget what it's about, this whole Great Awakening is about? It's like, every day I have to drill it in, remind myself, and, maybe for some people it's not, it doesn't affect them as much, or maybe they compartmentalize too much, so they can't actually convey what they're trying to push on their accounts. I can see when people are in pain and have, me myself, I have trouble describing how I feel because I'm just generally like that. I don't like to be, I don't talk like that all the time. I mean, I was raised in a good way, but I don't sit there and talk very much. I don't go and be so endearing all the time. I'm like, I try online, but that's probably as far as I go. I mean, other than, with my family and my wife or whatnot, but online, if you can be a bit more, how do you say, more, not nice, that's not the right word, because you can be however you want to be. You can be savage, you can be whatever. It's just be mindful that there are others out there seeking the truth who are new to the movement. They'll say, oh, watch out for these accounts from May to June or July at a certain date. Meanwhile, people are like, oh my God, there's so much stuff going on Twitter, I need to make an account. And they're maybe new or been in the movement for a while, maybe just didn't want to get on Twitter, and they finally did. And so now we're slowing down the process of getting these people up to speed because we were warned by other accounts. So
there were people that just switched their whole way of looking at things publicly just the last couple of days.
education for liberals. Have y'all seen what he's been pushing recently?
Yes. I'm not sure why or what his motive is or what. Did we not? I don't follow him too much, but I do keep tabs on those bigger accounts, and I've noticed that he was all about Trump, wasn't he? Not? Why did he?
He was all about Q and Trump, and then now he's. And see, I used to watch this other YouTuber, and she started pushing the exact same thing a few weeks ago about how Q is actually like a Luciferian movement, and I don't know, just all sorts of stuff. They're kind of inverting a lot of things, and they're trying to play off that, oh, we are such good Christians, that's why we can see through this. And I watched Education Liberal put out a video earlier today where he was doing that. It was this whole thing about how, like, I've been reading so much scripture and I realized that, Q is this bringer of false light, and they're trying to play off this whole religious angle. And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a religious movement, so to speak, but it's religiously backed with the fact that people are, because there's all sorts of religions out there, and they're all legal, and there's all sorts of people, and there's millions of people in the Q movement, and they're not all Pentecostal Christians or Catholics or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or Adventists. They're not Lutherans. They could be Jewish or Muslim too. I mean, they just want to have our country be right and free, and this is the way that we are going there. And together, we are able to do that, I do believe. If we do let them break those millions of people up into fragments, you've seen them do that effectively with my websites in the past, and where they've kept us offline, and that hurt me to my bone to not be able to do anything about that. But it didn't matter how much experience I had. I didn't have the money or the time or the manpower to make it happen or to fight back against those people at that time. That's why it took us so long to get back on. And when we got back on, we were fragmented and separated. And now we're coming back together. We're back at an anniversary of when they took us offline just a couple of days ago. And then the new 8-Kun is online now. We've got August, September, October, and November to make it. If we can stay on that long. We're almost out of time, guys.
Jim, we're going to need to sign off the Revolution Radio just here in a second. You can keep the show going.
Well, I got to pee. We got to call it a day.
Thanks for having me on again, as always, Brady.
Bro, we'll be bringing it on. But
I was on the D. Stevens show this morning, and from that time until I've been all night in Lagos. It's
I'm fixing to record Hardline, so yeah.
This has been the story behind the story, and this has been like having your two best friends meet. Jim, the Ship Show, I want to thank you for being a guest and co-host and host, and really driving it through for the story behind the story of Dr. H. We will be back next week. Bringing you news with what Drew is doing normally.
That's the music.